Chapter 1. The Boy with a Short Temper. Leo was an energetic and curious boy who lived in a small, peaceful village surrounded by tall mountains and deep valleys. He loved exploring, climbing trees, and playing with his friends. But Leo had one problem: he was quick to anger. If something didn't go his way, he would shout or argue. If he lost a game, he would storm off. If his little sister touched his toys, he would yell at her. One afternoon, while playing with his wooden toy cart, his sister Emma accidentally broke one of its wheels. "You ruined it!" Leo shouted, his face turning red with frustration. "I'm sorry, Leo," Emma said softly, her eyes filling with tears. But Leo didn't want to listen. He grabbed his toy, ran out of the house, and headed toward the mountains to cool off. Chapter 2. The Angry Shout. Leo walked until he reached the edge of the valley. He could see the rolling hills, the green fields, and the winding river below. But he was too upset to enjoy the view. Still feeling angry, he clenched his fists and shouted as loudly as he could, "I hate you!" To his shock, a voice shouted back, "I hate you!" Leo gasped and took a step back. Who was talking to him? He looked around, but he was completely alone. "Who are you?" he shouted. "Who are you?" the voice echoed back. "Stop copying me!" he yelled. "Stop copying me!" the voice replied. Leo's heart pounded. The voice sounded just as angry as he felt. "This place is mean!" he muttered, turning away. He ran home, confused and a little scared. Chapter 3. A Lesson from Father. That evening, Leo sat by the fireplace, still thinking about the strange voice. His father noticed his troubled face and asked, "What's wrong, Leo?" Leo hesitated, then told him about the voice in the valley. His father smiled knowingly. "Ah, my son," he said, "that was just your own voice coming back to you." Leo frowned. "But why did it sound so angry?" His father put a hand on his shoulder. "Come with me tomorrow, and I'll show you something important." Leo was curious, but agreed. Chapter 4. The Kind Words. The next morning, Leo and his father walked together to the valley. The sky was clear and the wind gently rustled the leaves. When they reached the same spot, Leo's father knelt beside him. "Now, Leo," he said, "instead of shouting in anger, try saying something kind." Leo hesitated. It felt silly, but he trusted his father. So he cupped his hands around his mouth and called out, "You are amazing!" A few moments later, the valley responded, "You are amazing!" Leo's eyes widened in wonder. The voice sounded warm and happy. He tried again, this time with a smile. "I like you! I like you!" The valley echoed back. Leo laughed. The valley was no longer scary. It was kind and friendly. His father smiled. "Do you see now, Leo? The valley simply returns what you give it. Life works the same way. If you give anger, anger comes back. But if you give kindness, kindness will return to you." Leo nodded slowly. For the first time, he truly understood. Chapter 5. The Change in Leo. That day, Leo made a promise to himself. When he got home, he saw Emma playing quietly in the corner. Instead of ignoring her, he sat down and said, "I'm sorry for shouting at you." Emma looked up, surprised. "It's okay, Leo. Do you want to play together?" Leo smiled and nodded. That was the first time he noticed how good it felt to be kind. The next day, when his friend won a game, instead of sulking, Leo clapped and said, "Good job! You played really well." His friend grinned and said, "Thanks, Leo. Let's play again tomorrow." Little by little, Leo noticed something amazing. The more kindness he gave, the more kindness he received. Chapter 6. The Final Echo. A few weeks later, Leo returned to the valley alone. This time, he didn't feel the need to shout in anger. Instead, he cupped his hands around his mouth and called out, "Thank you!" And the valley echoed back, "Thank you!" Leo smiled. The world really does give back what you put into it. As he walked home, he felt lighter, happier, and kinder than ever before. Moral of the story: what you give to the world comes back to you. If you speak with kindness, kindness will return. If you spread anger, anger will find its way back. Choose kindness, and the world will be kind to you.